Going on, everyone? I want to share with you my story and how I got started into cryptocurrency. Just posting my buys and sells into the Slack forum, in Discord. If you all want to sign up, it's in links in the description. Anyway, let's dive right in. So I got started into crypto when Bitcoin was around $300, and I didn't know too much about it. I'd heard about it in passing from friends and roommates, going through the years and stuff like that. And at one point, I had an opportunity to buy it when it was less than a cent. Yes, you heard me correctly. I was drinking with a friend back when I lived in West Virginia, and he had a friend who liked to gamble. And he says, "Hey, there's this currency that enables you to be able to gamble online, or maybe it will in the future." It was very speculative. He said, and it's called Bitcoin. And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, how do we get it?" I didn't know anything about it. And he said, "Well, it's really difficult. You have to buy it." Like, he was trying to explain to me like what a wallet was, and I just didn't understand it. And I was like, I think we may have tried, but we just kept drinking, and I just passed out and woke up and didn't think anything of it since. So years went by, and I heard about it again from a roommate. He's like, "Oh yeah, he made a lot of money on Bitcoin." This was back when it was like, I think before it was even like $10 or something. It went up to $10, and he sold out or something like that. And I just was like, "Oh, okay, whatever, Bitcoin, man, whatever." And I just blew it off again. And then um, I was waiting tables. This was years later, and I moved out of New York or whatever. And I was living in Tennessee, and I was waiting tables at this restaurant, and I always got paid in cash. That's how I got paid. Um, and I had some cash on me, and I stopped at this gas station. It was like 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night after my shift. And this gas station paying gas, and I looked over and I saw these kids I'm gonna say kids, I was maybe in like their teens or 20s or something like that. They had like hoods up, and they were dressed nicely, and what I noticed, they were putting a ton of money into this machine, and I was like, that's a bit odd. Like, it's pretty late, hoodies. I don't know. It just seemed interesting to me. So I went over to it, stood in line, and I didn't want to ask them what they were doing because I didn't want to come off as like a noob, like I didn't what I was talking about. So I just was like, yeah, I'm here for the same reason you are, or whatever. And they were just like, okay. And I didn't say that, but I was just kind of like, giving off that vibe. Anyway, I got up to what it was, and I looked at it. It said Bitcoin ATM, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. Anyway, so I bought some, and I had a block. I downloaded a digital wallet, a blockchain wallet from the. It was just called blockchain, I think. It was a wallet. Put it on there, and I was like, this is really like this is pretty cool. But I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't really research it, so I left it there for a few days. Bought some stuff online with it, and I sold out the rest of it for a Red Lobster gift card, and I used that gift card to cash out at Red Lobster. So I was completely out, whatever. It was like a cool experience. And then a few months later, listen to this. A few months later, my brother calls me up. He goes, "Hey man, did you hear about Bitcoin going to $3,000?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, it was. I remember it last when it was 300. How did it go? Why did it go to 3,000 or whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, it did." He said something about blockchain being like the next revolutionary thing, and I was like, that sparked my attention. I was like, the fact that it went from 300 to 3,000, or where it was exactly, it significantly increased in price. Really sparked my attention because I'm like, something that is worthless doesn't do that. It just doesn't, like, it keeps going up. Like, throughout my life, I just kind of put the puzzle piece together. I'm like, it's continuing to go up gradually. Why? Anyway, I went home and I dove down. I remember Googling, and I was like, why is Bitcoin going up in value? Like, why is Bitcoin increasing in value? Like, that question got me searching. And I came across all these forums about, oh, the government it can print unlimited amounts of money. They're not stopping. They can't print Bitcoin. And just reading that and having that like click in my head, I realized that this is going to replace all fiat currency. It's only a matter of time. And down the rabbit hole I went. And then I figured out I learned how to trade. I learned how to trade by reading trading books. I read all the trading books by Jesse Livermore, all the greats. Um, you know, learn, just watching chart pattern after chart pattern for really months and years, drawing out chart patterns, using different indicators, trying different trading methods, trying out my own trading methods, reading forums, learning from guys like Pip Easy, just everything and anything you could imagine. I just dove into this space. I wanted to be a part of this space. I didn't know like how or what I wanted to do. My background is music producing, so but once I started getting into like math, because when you trade, you have to understand, calculate percentages and stuff like that. And it's not a lot of math, but when you're buys and sells, and I sell 30% here, I hold 70%, I sell another 30%. So it's just like basic mathematics. But I started calculating probabilities, and I started calculating the probability of Bitcoin overtaking fiat, and I realized it's a high probability. So I was like, well, if I put my money into Bitcoin, I have a really high probability of it working out. And when I started trade, and I was like, okay, if I learn a trading system that works, I have a high probability of winning over all these other traders. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how I was able to build up my account from a small amount to a significantly larger amount, was calculating probabilities. If I put my buy here, what is the probability that I'll be able to sell it higher later on? And whenever I'm in a trade, I'm literally in my head, I'm calculating the probability. What is the probability that if I buy here, I'll be able to sell higher later? What is that probability? So to be able to understand this, like, I'll research the project. What does the project look like? What's the sentiment behind it? How high did it go before? Are we in a bull market? If I buy, how long will it take for me to get out of a trade? And I'm not always right. As you can see on the KNC chart, that it's taken me a little bit longer to be able to make my money back. But the probability and the likelihood of it getting back here, and maybe eventually going back and retesting this all-time high, is pretty high, because the sentiment is ever increasing that cryptocurrency is the new thing. So the sentiment's there, the buying power is there. It's just going to matter of time. I just have to basically sit around, not do anything stupid, and I could get paid. Same with SRK. And so, if I didn't understand probabilities, I didn't understand like market moves, chart patterns, what things did in the past, being able to trade a bear market completely, watch the other bull market, take all of this into account into my mind when I'm deciding what I'm going to do, it would be much more difficult, because if I'm coming into it from a new perspective, and I've never seen crypto, I've never seen this stuff, I've never seen a chart pattern, I've never seen an order book, trying to navigate this would be it'd be like being a minnow in shark infested waters. But since I've been in there and I grew up with the sharks, I am a shark essentially. So it's much easier for me to survive, which is why I made the mentorship, to be able to be a shark for the people that want to grow, become a whale, you want to be a shark. Well, it's much easier if you're training from a shark. So anyway, I started trading, and it was an interesting experience at first, because the concepts were there. I was like, you mean to tell me that the chart rewards bad behavior? I was like, what? This is just, and it does, right? Like, if you bought the top back here, it came back and paid you, so it rewarded you for bad behavior. Nowhere else in the world are you rewarded for bad behavior, right? If you're a crappy student, you're going to get failed. If you're a horrible employee and you do the wrong thing, you're going to get fired. So, I mean, in the chart, you can do the wrong thing and you'll get paid. And you can do the wrong thing again and you'll get paid. You can do the wrong thing again, you'll get paid. And so it programs you to do all the wrong things. And then that one time that you do the wrong thing and it doesn't go in your favor, cleans you out. All the previous gains, you get wiped out, you get cleaned out. And I've heard this story time and time again. New people step into the ring. They don't know how to box. They don't know what's going on. They have no concept of anything. Most of these people don't even know they have no idea. They don't even know what they're doing. And they get wrecked. They get cleaned out, and you see it. You see it in the charts like this. These panics down, man. I mean, this is just textbook panic. And these buys up. This is just greed and FOMO buying it up. And so you have to see it for what it is. There's not geniuses behind the screen here. Some of them are. Some of these traders are very intelligent. They know what they're doing. They're very patient. They can crush it. But that's not the majority of people here. That's not the majority of people. The majority of people have no idea what they're doing. They don't even basically know how to fill it, how to get their order filled. They're just market buy, market sell. I'm scared. I want to get in. I'm FOMO, sell, sell. That's the majority of people. And when you know that, when you're like me and you know that, you can just move and dodge, and you're just like, it's simple. It's just simple at this point, because I've seen it so many times. I've done it so many times. It's just like business as usual. Oh, it crashed 60%. Oh, that's cute. It's business as usual, and that's really the perspective. Is trading exciting? It is exciting in the crypto market, but what I like about it is I'm never like in an excited state. Like if it goes up and I make 20 Ethereum, whatever, I'm happy. I'm like, wow, that's really cool, But I'm sort of like immune to it because I've seen it so much, I've done it so much. It's just like rinse and repeat for me. It's kind of, and if it crashes down and my account dips, it's like whatever. I've been down a grand and have it come back and pay me $5,000. So I made up for the grand and then I made some, and I've had that happens quite a bit. So, but when it's down, when you're down that $1,000, you're like, ouch, and if it's like the first couple of times that's happened, it's easy to shake your conviction. Do you know what I mean by that? Like you're able to get into a place where you're like, oh my gosh, it may never come back, but it will, as it does. If we're in a bull market, this market will come back and pay you. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that was my start into crypto. Do I wish I would have bought earlier? Sure. And I've dealt with that emotion. I've dealt with the whole, I should have got in earlier, blah, blah, blah. I've been there, done that, dealt with that. Now it doesn't even cross my mind. It doesn't even cross my mind because I'm in the game now, and I have my system going on now. And that's what you gotta keep that perspective. Like you don't have a time machine, and you wouldn't know if you should have bought that time or know if you would have held. How did you know? You know what I'm saying? Like $10 worth in Bitcoin in 2009 would have been 200 million now, and I'm not even making like go and look at those numbers. 2009, if you would have bought Bitcoin, $10 worth would have been $200 million. Let that sink in for a second. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the video here. Smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you like this kind of content.